What's going on, everyone? So defense wins championships, no doubt about it. But even if you have the best defense in the history of the league, you still need an offense that can kind of reward the defense and their efforts. And when you don't have that, it doesn't matter how good your defense is, especially in the game of basketball, right? Because teams are going to score. They're going to have stretches. And you saw that very apparently in the Boston game. Right? Lakers kind of fell into bad habits. You go down into a 18-point deficit. Now you're playing catch up. They really picked it up in that second quarter, but that first quarter was rough. You're going with an all-defensive unit, which puts so much pressure on LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Taurean Prince. And only two of those guys really showed up. LeBron had his struggles that game. Anthony Davis was phenomenal, right? In every way. 40 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists. He had 1 block and played 39 minutes. But that's also a concern. Anthony Davis played 42 minutes in the Thunder game. Now he plays nearly 40 minutes in this Celtics game. The defense in the beginning has given up 39 points against the Thunder, now 32 points against the Celtics, and our offense isn't offsetting that. In the Thunder game, it did. I mean, even though we lost the first quarter, we saw in the second quarter, picked up. Again, you need to have that balance. It's about balance, right? Lakers are 6th in defense, but they're like 26th in offense, right? There is no balance there. They were like, top 5 in defense, right? Even if they're the number 1 defense, let's say they're the best defense in the league, right? You still have to have the offense to offset that. A great example, the Denver series. Right? In the Western Conference Finals, Lakers, number 1 defense in the league. Denver was like a top 15. I don't even think they were 15th, but they were in that area, right? Defensively. Didn't matter. One team was able to score and hit big shots and consistently put the ball in the hoop. One team wasn't. And the Lakers ended up losing those games. And we're so reliant on LeBron James and Anthony Davis to score. We have nobody else that can consistently score the basketball at a rate to where it can impact the game on the offensive side, right? It's why we desperately need a trade. We need to go get Zach Lavine. I know people are on the edge with Zach Lavine. Some people want to avoid it, stay away from it. I understand the injury concerns, but I've said this and I'll continue to say it. As far as injury concerns go, you can't base decisions solely on injury. Zach Lavine, he played 77 games, and then a couple years ago, he played 40 games, right? Like, we don't know what's going to happen. He may end up playing almost every game for the Lakers. He may not. If we were basing decisions solely on, hey, this guy has injury concerns, every player in the league, Joel Embiid didn't even play in the Christmas game. He's had injury issues. Like, would you not trade for Joel Embiid? Right? Like, Giannis has had his injury concerns the last few years. Would you not trade for Giannis? Luka has had his injury concerns. And look, I'm not saying Zach Lavine is on par with any of those guys, but my point is that if you just based it solely on injury concerns, then no team ever would go and make any deals. The Lakers wouldn't have traded for Anthony Davis, right? But we traded for Anthony Davis, and it led to an NBA championship. Zach Lavine solves most of our issues. Not all of them. Don't get me wrong, but he solves a lot of them. The other issue is that people bring up is the salary, $40 million. He is definitely not worth $40+ million a year. I concur. I agree. But the Lakers are already over the cap. The Lakers, if they say go into next season, it's not like all of a sudden they have all this money to spend. They're still over the cap. Even if they were to stand pat, you're only going to trade 2 or 3 guys to go get Zach Lavine. You would still have plenty of depth, which I'll address the depth issue here in a minute. But you would have basically everything you need, and you'd have it all locked up for the next 3 to 4 years, right? Basically during Lavine's tenure. And the salary cap goes up in 2025. So LeBron, if his contract, if he does another 1+1 or whatever, then you have this huge salary spike. Say the Lakers win a championship or something, you could still go get LeBron and go get other guys, right? At that point, you're just trying to get vet minimum guys. The only thing it would impact is the tax, the luxury tax, but that has nothing to do with anything other than Jeannie has to pay more money, right? If she's willing to pay for it, Zach Lavine solves everything because it gives us a guy that can consistently, game in and game out, go score the basketball. We have nobody else that would do that. Look, think about this. If we traded for Zach Lavine, he would immediately be our best natural scorer. LeBron James, he can hit the jump shot. He can hit the three, shooting the three ball well, but he's not like this great gifted natural KD level scorer, right? He's not this guy that's just, crossing people over and just shooting off the dribble and giving you 30 points on jump shots. It's not his game. He's more bulldoze, put my head down, get to the basket, right? And just finish at the rim, finish through contact, all that stuff. Use my size, my strength, my frame. AD, he can knock down the three ball. He can hit the midi, but he lives in the paint in that 10 feet in type range. Zach Lavine gives you a guy that can hit the three ball with efficiency, that can hit the mid-range with efficiency, that can blow past the defender and get to the rim, apply rim pressure, right? A guy that can play off the ball, on the ball. He shoots 45% in catch and shoot threes, which he's going to get a ton of them alongside LeBron James. Imagine him and Taurean Prince, right? So many people throw out hey, Lakers need a shooter. Well, guess what? Zach Lavine is a shooter. So you get shooting, but you also get a guy that is capable of scoring the basketball, right? Reeves, he's not a natural scorer. He has to work so hard for his offense. And teams are willing to live with Austin Reeves just playing Austin Reeves basketball. Right? Austin Reeves has to be methodical, has to get into the teeth of the defense, has to try to create some space or contact in order to score. Zach Lavine can just blow by the defender. Zach Lavine can just elevate and shoot over the top of the defender. We don't have anybody that can do that, right? And he gives you that over-the-top shooting that the Lakers desperately need. Give you a guy that can consistently game in and game out, go give you 20-plus points per game. Zach Lavine as your best player or your second best player, you're probably not winning a championship. But he'd be our third best player. Imagine the looks and opportunities that he would get. On top of that, you're talking about a guy that would take so much pressure off of LeBron James and Anthony Davis, would open up so much for LeBron James and Anthony Davis. As I mentioned, teams are willing to just live with Austin Reeves beating them, right? They allow Austin Reeves to go one-on-one. No one help defends. They just pack the paint and stay in front of AD. And whatever Reeves does. And they're looking at it as hey, if Reeves goes off for 50, then so be it. But it's never happened, so we'll take our chances. Lavine scored 50 this year. He has multiple 50-point games. He is a guy that if you leave him on an island, he is going to torch that defender. We have no athletic guards. We have no athleticism in the scoring department. Lavine solves so much of that, right? Taurean Prince has been our best and most consistent shooter this season, right? Zach Lavine would provide another volume three-point shooter that could knock it down. Going and getting a guy like Buddy Hield or something like that, yes, it would probably help our three-point shooting, but he's limited. It doesn't solve any of our other scoring issues, right? We need a consistent go-to scorer. We need somebody that can provide that. And if the Lakers trade for Zach Lavine, as I mentioned, you would have plenty of depth. How much depth do you need? The Lakers aren't running 12 guys now. They're definitely not running 12 guys come playoff time, right? When you get to the playoffs, you're only going to run 8 or 9 guys anyway. Zach Lavine would also give the Lakers the ability to rest LeBron more, rest AD more, because you'd have that guy that could go and kind of take over games, take over stretches, right? Or at least keep you within range. That's just extremely valuable for the Lakers. Right? Let's say the Lakers trade D'Angelo Russell, Rui Hachimura, and Gabe Vincent with Jalen Hood-Schifino. And we get back Zach Lavine and Andre Drummond, right? Just throwing those names out, for example, because money would work, all that stuff, right? Okay, just go with that, right? The Lakers, Jalen Hood-Schifino, right? He's not even going to play really this year. So you're not losing depth in that department, but you're trading 3 depth guys for 2. But it also opens up a roster spot where you could go and get another free agent. Maybe you're getting another big man, and then you're saving that 14th roster spot for the buyout market or something like that. Maybe go get another playmaker or something. Or maybe the Lakers look to make some other little minor deal or something. Lakers have options there. But let's say before they even do any of that stuff, right, you just get Zach Lavine and Andre Drummond. Again, solves your scoring issues, solves your big man issues because Jackson Hayes just isn't it. And then you would have what? You'd have LeBron, AD, you'd have Zach Lavine, you'd have Austin Reeves, you'd have Taurean Prince, you'd have Cam Reddish, Jared Vanderbilt, Andre Drummond, Christian Wood, and Max Christie. There's 10 guys right there I named. And that's not counting if you go and sign somebody in free agency or you go and you get, another trade or whatever, right? Somebody from the buyout market, whatever. The Lakers would have plenty of depth. But you'd also have that third guy that you can rely on and can consistently game in and game out, just go get you buckets. Defensively, right? Because again, you have to have a balance. You would still have all of your defensive guys. Even if you traded Gabe Vincent, or let's say they don't trade Gabe Vincent. Let's say they do something else, right? But even if you traded Gabe Vincent, he hasn't played all year. So why does it matter? You're sixth in defense. Zach Lavine would also take a ton of pressure off of the defense because your offense would improve. So your offense would help to kind of balance out the defensive effort. So when you do miss an assignment or you do have a bad defensive possession, right? Or, whatever, right? Now it's not as big of an issue, right? And then it kind of allows everybody to go in the natural order. Also, all the other guys don't have to worry about scoring the basketball so much. So now if Austin Reeves goes and gives you 20, it's that much more impactful. It's that much more significant. You're probably winning all those games because that means Zach Lavine's probably getting you 20, 25. And you could go with the starting unit similar to what we have, right? You could go with Cam Reddish and Jared Vanderbilt in the starting unit because you have Zach Lavine, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, 3 guys that could all go get you 40 collectively in for one quarter, right? So you have more than enough offense, right? You don't have to rely on LeBron as much to generate offense. Pretty much everybody on our team has to be set up outside of like D'Lo and Reeves. But again, they're slower players. They don't have the athleticism to blow by. They have to kind of work for their offense rather than, again, just giving the ball to Lavine and letting him go to work. The Lakers would be excellent defensively still. I fully believe they'll be top 5 defensively. I think Zach Lavine would probably take us to at least top 10 offensively. And you'd have plenty of depth. You'd have everything. Check. Right? Now, the Lakers could still use another 3-and-D wing. Maybe you go and get another center. Definitely think that they would need a playmaker if you trade D'Lo. There's still things that they need, but every team has things that they need. Zach Lavine solves 70% of the Lakers' issues because the Lakers have the defense. They have the defense. The one thing they're lacking is the offense. Zach Lavine immediately fixes that, right? And he's a guy that even on his bad games are better than the average games for Reeves and D'Lo. Again, I'm not saying Zach Lavine is a top 10 player or anything like that. Zach Lavine, I don't even know if he's a top 25 player. But one thing he is good at is scoring the basketball. He is up there with the best of them when it comes to scoring the basketball. And guess what his one job would be on the Lakers as opposed to these other teams? Scoring the basketball. Teams like Minnesota, teams like Chicago, his job was a lot more than just scoring the basketball. He had to set guys up. He had to play make. He had to basically be the guy. He doesn't have to do any of that. I mean, I'm sure he's still going to make plays. The Lakers are still going to want him to do things. But he can focus on just being a scorer. You got the basketball, you got the green light. Go. Right? The Lakers love to run isolation a lot. But they don't have anybody that's elite in isolation outside of AD and LeBron. Guess what Zach Lavine is good at? Isolation. Right? So when your offense gets stagnant, like you saw, Boston, they struggled. They went on a cold streak. They couldn't score the basketball. What do? Give it to Brown. Give it to Tatum. Let them go to work. I'm not saying I want the Lakers to just be an ISO-heavy basketball team. That's not good either. But when you have a guy that can just go get a bucket or just get to the rim and put it on the ref to blow the whistle, create free throws, all of those things, right? That's good. That's how you get out of slumps, right? And team defenses are going to have a nightmare because now if you just leave Zach Lavine one-on-one, you're getting torched, man. Getting absolutely torched. Where they're comfortable letting Reeves because Zach Lavine will go off for 50. Again, he's done it. We know he can do it. And even if he doesn't go off for 50, he'll go off for 30, 40. Right? He has countless of those. So this is a guy that, yes, if you let him go one-on-one, he's going to beat you. So now, if he starts getting going and he gets hot and he starts scoring at will, now teams have to address that. And guess what? That means LeBron James is going to go one-on-one. AD is going to go one-on-one. You're going to have to pick your poison. And then Zach Lavine starts opening things up for Taurean Prince even more than he already has it. Like, he gets a bunch of catch and shoot opportunities, right? So now you got Prince and you got Lavine, two guys that can shoot, 38, 40% from three on, 7 attempts a game. All of those things would be massive. The Lakers need to go get Zach Lavine. If realistically the Lakers could get somebody else, I'd be saying that play. Like, if they realistically go get Donovan Mitchell or something like that, I'd be screaming to go get Donovan Mitchell. I just don't believe that that's realistic. I think Zach Lavine is extremely realistic. I don't think he's going to cost much. And I think he is, every time the Lakers play, he's looking more and more like a necessity rather than like a want or a desire. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Agree with me, disagree with me, somewhere in between. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.